know anything about IVF, if you heard about IVF, you've probably heard it is extremely expensive. Hey guys, my name is Crystal Adesanya. Welcome to my channel. So if you're watching for the first time, welcome. I have been walking through my IVF journey with myself and my husband, both being sickle cell carriers. Now, in the last video, I talked about some of the emotional things that went into finding out we were both carriers. And in this video, I'm going to be talking about some of the financial decisions that we had to make and some of the things you should consider while you're going into this process. Now, first things first, we had to decide whether or not we were going to pay out of pocket or use our insurance. If you're in the US, that is an option for you. And if you know anything about IVF, if you heard about IVF, you've probably heard it is extremely expensive. It's very, very expensive. It could range anywhere from $20,000 to like $50,000, depending on where you live, the type of things you're going through, etc. In our case, we had to go through many different things to be able to have our baby. Now, the consideration to really think about is, one, what are the reasons for going through IVF? Our reasons specifically I am going to be talking about in this video being that myself and my husband are both sickle cell carriers and we had to go through genetic testing to have our baby via IVF. We had to create the embryos, take it to a lab to get tested to figure out which of the embryos had any genetic issues like sickle cell, like any abnormalities, etc., to be able to have a healthy, happy baby. Now, in order to start this process, we had to decide how much money we were going to spend on this. At this point, we had just started dating, FYI. And the interesting thing was, as we did our research, we found out that actually, if you have genetic issues that could cause problems for your baby, etc. in the future, your insurance is more likely to cover you for IVF. Ding, ding, ding. And it's interesting to know because this is something that is probably a no-brainer, right? It's like, obviously, the insurance will want to make sure you have a healthy baby so they're not paying for so many medical bills down the line. And it's kind of like why didn't everyone think about that? Everyone should know this. And one of the things we did was, one, make sure we had the right plan. So I chose an Aetna POS plan through my company, and at the time I was providing insurance for my entire company. And I talked to my HR person at the company and I made the announcement and I said, hey, everyone now has this plan. Your boss here is a sickle cell carrier and she has to go through IVF. I had really become so vocal about this to my entire team so that everyone kind of knew what was going on and everyone could take advantage of it for other reasons, which is like egg freezing, etc., as a benefit through my company. Once we did that, we started to do additional research and we were looking for a doctor. We looked for different doctors, and not to spend too much time on this, but finding the right doctor will make the difference in your process. I repeat, find the right doctor so that your process can be smooth. And to find that right doctor, for me, it was an expensive process as well. You had to pay about $300 each time we went to do a consultation just to see if we liked the doctor or not. And I remember very vividly, there was a doctor we went to see and we sat down, we had, of course, submitted the reason why we came, and she was sitting with us and she said, oh, so why are you guys going through this process? And we said, well, we're both sickle cell carriers and we're deciding to have our baby via IVF. And she was like, wait, you knew you were both sickle cell carriers and you got married anyway? And I was like, yes, ma'am, we did. That was the sign. I never went back to that doctor and I found someone else. Can you just imagine the audacity of this lady? Like, zero bedside manner, zero professionalism, 0 sense, like common sense. She didn't have to say that, but anyway, I digress. So really, the first couple people you talk to about this will make or break your experience. So make sure you're seeking out people who understand this process, who have done it before, and who are there to actually help you. Now, once we decided on the plan, this plan had what was called a center of excellence, and we decided to go with that center of excellence, which was West Coast Fertility Center. I left that center because, well, they gave me my beautiful baby, but also because the moment we sat with this doctor to kind of like talk through what was going to happen, he told us he had done a lot of work and a lot of research within Africa, one, around sickle cell, two, and he had some patients who were going through the same exact process for the same reason. That just gave us a lot of calm and made us feel so comfortable with the process, so we decided to go with that doctor. Now, a couple of things. They had told us what the cash price was going to be, and keep in mind there's several stages that had to go into play to be able to have our baby, and they had told us what the insurance route was going to be. And because I knew insurance was likely to cover most of it, we decided to go via insurance. But the trick here was, in order for the insurance to still approve you, you have to go through kind of like a pre-approval process. In order to get through the pre-approval, we had to do a bunch of tests. Now, some of the tests were, of course, STD screenings and things like that, hormone testing, follicle counting, semen analysis, etc. And once the insurance was comfortable with all the information they had received, including our genetic test results, which did show, in fact, that we were both sickle cell carriers, AS. Once they had all that information, they then approved us to go through IVF. So we were very excited to get our approval, and we were ready to start the process. Again, it is extremely important for you to talk to your insurance provider and find out, one, do you cover IVF? Do you cover egg freezing? Do you cover genetic selection and testing? Do you cover the actual storage of the embryos? So those are some of the things that we had to find out, and some things were covered, some things were not covered. In total, I believe it was supposed to run us like $20,000 all in, but we ended up paying about $5,000 because our insurance covered majority of the process, and then we had to pay for certain things out of pocket, like some of the medications that were not covered. And I have a really low pain tolerance, guys, so because of that I had to use anesthesia for my transfer, which is kind of what happened, and I had to pay for that out of pocket. Besides that, most of the things were covered, and we were able to go through this process in a way that was more affordable for us, instead of all the thousands of dollars it would have cost if we went out of pocket. So those are some things to consider. Make sure you do some research, make sure you talk to your insurance, and typically, like I said, the insurance company will have people who are really successful at doing this, and I highly recommend you go with whoever they choose. But make sure you are actually comfortable with that person. Make sure they are knowledgeable so that your process can be wonderful like mine was. Thanks again for watching my video. I'll see you in the next video where I talk about the actual testing and process and some of the horror stories in between. But I'm so excited to continue to share with you. If you like this video, like, subscribe, follow along, and pass this on to someone who might need this advice. This might be helpful too. Or if you are going through this process, comment if there are things in this video that you may have not known about. Let me know, and I'll keep those things in mind to share more detailed information in my next videos. Thank you very much. See you next time.